Hey boys and girls, glad you're here today. We're learning about the 23rd Psalm. Our author in this book asked a really good question last week. He said, if we are God's people and He is our good shepherd, which He is, and we are, why do we ever need to be restored? And that's because we're human. We sin, we make mistakes. Even when we're God's people, we mess up. So we need to be restored. We forget to go to God. And we need to be restored. We sin, and it hurts our relationship with God, and that needs to be restored. Restored means fixed or rejuvenated. It's like you run a race, you're so thirsty, you need water to restore you. Or your parents buy a house that's kind of old and run down, and they restore it. It means they scrub the floors, they might paint the outside, they paint the inside, get it all fixed up. Or maybe you know someone who bought an old car. It was rusted out, didn't run, and they restored it, made it as good as new. It takes a lot of work to restore anything, but it's worth the effort because in the end, there's something wonderful. That's the best version of what it used to be. So, the Bible says He restores my soul, the part that God knows better than I know myself, the part that will live forever with God someday in heaven. He restores my soul. And last week, we talked about what it means to be a cast sheep. Because when we think of being restored, we need to be restored after we're downcast, which is a way of saying sad, which is a way of saying our soul is broken or thirsty or rusty or beat up or crumbling or old. A downcast soul needs to be restored. I showed you pictures of what a cast sheep looks like. It's when a sheep falls over and can't get up. Someone has to help them. Otherwise, they will just lay there and eventually die. Just because they can't get up. And so we can learn from that. And I wanted to tell you today, our author wants to tell us today, 3 different reasons that a sheep might be cast. And how that compares to people. One thing that might make a sheep become cast is if it's found a really, really soft spot and it nestles in cozy and comfortable and it finds that it nestled in so far that it can't get its feet under him to get up. Well, I have a friend like that. Her name is Lazy. I am so comfortable. I'd probably need to study, but I'm so comfortable. Maybe I should probably work, but I'm so comfortable. Maybe I need to go be with my kids. But I'm so comfortable. I should cook dinner. But I'm so comfortable. I probably ought to go to church. But I'm just cozy comfortable. Or maybe I should do my quiet time. But I'm too comfortable. I'll just stay right here, being comfortable. Lazy, you need to get up. Yes, I know you're comfortable, but you need to get up. God gave you some jobs to do, and you need to go do them. You mean it's not always good to be comfortable? Well, I guess that makes sense. I don't really want to do other things when I'm this comfortable. I can see why God would want to make me less comfortable because when I'm not so comfortable, I do remember Him more and I get more stuff done. God will help you. He will give you rest. Better than those pillows, Lazy. Alright, God, if you want to take my pillow pile, you can have it. See, boys and girls, sometimes we just look for life to be easy. Might not be laying in a cozy corner of pillows. We don't always want to have to clean our rooms. We don't want to have to do our jobs. And there's so many things. We'd just rather take the easy way out. Sometimes life is hard work, and that's good because it keeps us healthy and it helps us notice all the things that our good shepherd is doing for us. Those sheep, just because they belong to a good shepherd doesn't mean that they don't have to walk over rocks and hills and wade across very cold streams. Sometimes it's hard, but they have to remember to stay with the flock and follow their good shepherd. And we do too. I can't get so comfortable and cozy that I'm lazy and I don't remember to have my quiet time and take care of the things that God's entrusted me with and be kind to the people He's put in my life. Reason number 2, sometimes sheep get too much wool. I think we've talked about this before, and I showed you a picture of that sheep named Shrek. Sometimes sheep get cast because they have these 4 little legs and this big old bushy ball of wool on their body, and as they walk might get muddy, might get stickers and sticks and things stuck in it, get ticks and burrs and manure, which means poop. All that kind of stuff gets stuck on it. And I don't know if you've ever gotten your clothes muddy or wet. Sheep's wool gets super heavy because it's really dense. It's like if you were wearing a sweater and it got wet and muddy and stuff stuck in it. It's really heavy. That reminds me of a friend I have called Stuffy. Alright, boys and girls, I'm here in my house, my storeroom. Got a lot of things that everybody needs here. See if you can feeling pretty good. Let's see. Let me show you some other things in. You can't get up. Stuffy, you gotta get rid of some of that stuff. It's holding you down. I know you think you need all of it, but it's making it so you can't get up and do the things that you need to do. What's that you say? I don't need to worry about having so much stuff. How will I ever be happy if I don't have all my stuff? How will I be happy if I don't have all my stuff? Let it go. It'll be okay because your good shepherd provides for all your needs. You don't need that stuff. He'll take care of you. You don't have to hold on to things. Jesus. Oh, get all this off me. Whoa.
Shut yourself there.
I feel so much better. Thanks. Don't be gone. Good job, Stuffy. Feels good, doesn't it? Those sheep like it when they get shorn, too. They might not like the process of being shorn, but once they're done, they weigh less. They're free. They can feel the air and the water on their skin. I bet it's really nice. I have one other friend that reminds me of sheep in a different way. This friend is called Mrs. Plump. So I've got books on how to cook things, and books on how to talk to people, and books on what kind of books to read, and books on how to be kind. Here's a book on how to clean, and a book on how to never make a mess again. And here's some books on how to teach children, and some books on how children teach adults. And here's a book on what not to do, and thank you, I was getting hot. And some books on working with your toddlers in your office, and some books on making movies, and some books on how to balance your books and how to balance your budget, and how to balance on a tightrope. Oh, this one's how to count the stars, and how to name the stars, and what stars are, and a book on how to make paper airplanes. Okay, now I just gotta go get some more books about how to carry books. Mrs. Plump thinks she's very smart. You probably are smart, Mrs. Plump, I don't know. But you know what? All the wisdom and knowledge in those books ain't gonna get you into heaven. Only Jesus gets you into heaven, Mrs. Plump. Wait a minute. I don't need to know what anybody thinks? Oh, I can know what they think, but what Jesus thinks is the most important. 'Cause he's my good shepherd. No more books for me. Well, okay. I'll still use books. But I'll listen to Jesus first. Yes, it's fun to read books, and it's good to know what's in there. It's good to be smart, and it's great to read books just for fun and go to an imaginary land. But when you do that because you don't know what God's going to do in the future and you feel like you've got to figure it out, that's dangerous. We don't have to know what the future holds. When you study all the books because you don't trust that God's wisdom is enough for you, when you study all those books so you can make life work out a certain way so it can be just like you like it and you won't need God, that's a bad reason to study. So be careful. The world would tell you that if you're not comfortable, something's wrong. If you don't have enough stuff, something's wrong. If you're not smart enough, something's wrong. Those are lies. God provides for all your needs, boys and girls. All your needs. He gives you all the knowledge that you need, and you can rest in Him. He gives you all the stuff that you need, and you can rest in His provision. And He gives you peace that will last forever. You don't need to try to make it for yourself. Rest in your good shepherd, boys and girls. He loves you. Talk to you next week.